Up early this morning, a little past 4:30 here in beautiful Chandler, Arizona. Out on my morning routine. This week's a little bit different, a little bit special. This week I'm wrapping up my preparation and training for this year's Bataan Death March. This year it's a virtual event because of COVID. Last year it was canceled. I believe last year it was on the 14th of March. And my buddy Ted Wolf, we're gonna drive out together. He was gonna fly down from Washington and we were gonna drive out together to New Mexico, do it together. Ted and I have known each other for, I don't know, over 20 years. We met through our ex-wives, frankly. He was a Air Force guy and I was an Army guy. We were both stationed in the Southwest, close to the border. I was in El Paso. He was at Holloman in New Mexico. Ted ultimately went on to retire from the Navy. We were going to do it together. Couldn't do that. So doing it virtually this year, preparing this week. I know how long I've got to go. So next Saturday, I'll do 26.2 miles, commemorating the men who were forced marched as prisoners by the Japanese Imperial Army after the Battle of Bataan, which lasted about 3 months, 1942. So in April of 42, somewhere between 60 and 80,000 men, Filipino troops, American troops, were marched by the Japanese Imperial Army. They didn't know how far they had to go. Many of them were marched without shoes, proper clothing, no food, no water. It was an inhumane treatment of those people that had fought in that battle. So in a week I'll commemorate their sacrifice and the sacrifice of others, who have fought and either been imprisoned as a conditional warfare or didn't come back at all. Least I could do. Much of that much of those actions make it possible for me to be out here this morning in my neighborhood early but safe, nice conditions, nice weather, got equipment, the ability to video myself. Least I could do for them. It's the least I could do for them. It's not even that hard. I think people think about, 26 miles. That's a long way. Well, now when you got good shoes, plenty of water, can decide the clothing you're going to wear that day for the conditions, Next week it'll be kind of like it is today. I'll start at about 3 in the morning, probably be in the low 60s. Maybe a little wind, maybe. Not sure. It's a week from now. By the time I finish, it'll probably be around 90. The sun will really start to be peaking here. But I will have the ability to read a weather report to determine what I should wear, what additional gear I should bring. Strategically plan my fuel, my water. Hell, I won't even be that far from my house. So if I get in trouble, if I get hurt, I'd certainly be able to call 911. But, probably be able to just call my wife. My son, say, hey, can you come pick me up? You gotta take me over to Banner. Those men did not have that. That luxury. A lot of people in the world don't have that luxury still. There are people in the world that face cruelty and conditions like those men did. And most of us have no idea. We have no relationship to it. And maybe we'll hear something about it. But, most of us don't know. Me included, man. I'm not getting all high and mighty. This is not a better than you kind of thing. But, I like to do this event almost every year for the last 8. As a small token of appreciation for what they did, for the change that did come to the world. So Battle of Bataan was several months after the attacks on Pearl Harbor. Attacks on Pearl Harbor was December of 1941. Battle of Bataan started January 42. The U.S. had become engaged in the Pacific theater of World War II. We tried to stay out of it. And of course, there was other stuff going on in the world. I mean, you had Nazi Germany attacking Europe. You had the Japanese attacking the Pacific. It was a very dangerous world then. It's a very dangerous world now. Different areas we have some pretty abhorrent conditions. So I'm not gonna change the world by doing a 26.2 mile commemorative walk, but I can, for a moment at least in my life, just show some respect for those troops. I say troops because most of them were American Army. A lot of actually New Mexico National Guard. Some not professional soldiers, but they stepped to the challenge. They gave their lives. Those that did survive were severely injured and impacted their entire lives. Most of them are gone now. There's very, very, very few, frankly, if any. One of the things that would happen at the ceremony when this event was not virtual was the living survivors would join the ceremony. Every year it got less and less. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to go last year because COVID canceled the whole thing. The year before there were I can't even, it was no more than a handful, but they were present, old men, needing assistance getting around, but still with us, living history. But their numbers are very few. So we have to commemorate them and remember that sacrifice. Remember what was at stake, what is still at stake, and should it happen again, respond. I'm way beyond service age these days. I had my time. Good time in my life when I served in the Army. So I have to do other things as a participation in the solutions to the problems, other than service. I have to serve in different ways. So next week I'll be with you, gonna broadcast some stuff, show you what I'm doing, walking around my hood. Like I said, I have the advantage of I don't have to travel this year. I was walking out the front door with my my pack, and I'll walk towards the mountain and get it done. Thanks for watching. Thanks for bearing with me. Out.